And when was it that you actually were told about the cancer and the fact that they had made a positive diagnosis?
I was told quite bluntly, first of all, which was a bit of a worry and a disappointment to me. During my first consultation, when I'd been recalled for mammography at the hospital, to say that there was an area that they thought was showing change in the breast, and that was picked up by ultrasound. And I was told there and then that it was likely to be some sort of cancerous change. When I inquired as to what would happen next, unfortunately for me, I was sort of told quite bluntly that, well, we're not going to leave an area in there, it needs to come out. Which I was a bit taken aback at, really, because I knew that basically, I suppose what I was asking for was what happens after you get your biopsy results and things like that. So maybe the communication could have been a bit better there, really. But after that was the first time, but when I was physically told I'd actually got cancer and that I would need an operation was the second visit, when I was told after the results of the core biopsy that yes, there was definitely a cancerous area there. I cannot remember, due to the stress of it, if they'd said the size of the area they were dealing with at that stage, but I certainly remember looking at the clock and thinking, gosh, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, somebody's just told me I've got cancer. And then I just fell to pieces, really, there and then. I broke down, I couldn't speak or anything. I was thinking all about my daughter, her age. I unfortunately lost my mother 8 years before that with a different type of cancer, which was stomach cancer, and because the outcome for her hadn't been so good, I automatically felt it would be the same possibly for me. But I think it was shock and all those things going through your mind, really.
Were you attending on your own for that critical
No,
reading?
I mean, I had good support. I had my husband there, and I also had my sister there, but that made it worse for me in a way, because she's a twin to me and we're very close, and I could see her face as I was being told the diagnosis. And she was as shocked as I was, and obviously it was a difficult time. Yeah.
Now, looking back on it now, because some time has passed, do you feel that the medical staff handled it as well as they could, or do you think there was a different way to do it?
I think they were very nice in a way, that the doctor who actually told me you should know that we don't leave cancer in there and it comes out, was very blunt in her approach. However, the consultant that came in when I was really distressed, and that they were all in the room, plus the breast support nurse, the consultant actually said, well, I think Julie's, reacted quite strongly to this because of things, obviously, and me personally, my experience before with cancer in the family. And so they chose to take me away for a cup of tea, which was quite nice. And then I did actually calm down a lot. They took me to a different environment. You weren't in a consulting room where you'd been examined. You weren't sat on a couch. It became less medical, and you were taken to a small room where you could have a cup of tea, and the nurse sat there and said, well, you think it's bad because you've heard that scary word cancer, and it is a very scary word, but at the same time there are all different grades and types, and it's not necessarily the end when you're told that word is applicable to you, but it's what you think of immediately.
Most of us imagine, if you hear that word, you imagine the worst, don't you? Imagine the worst case scenario.
But
it's good that the nurse there, I mean, it's a multidisciplinary clinic, and it's good the nurse was saying, well, look, we're going to help you, basically. And there's options for you.
Yeah, she did. And they didn't bombard me at that stage either with decisions about, would you be preferring, you have an option because of the size of the area that we're dealing with. I immediately thought, mastectomy, but she said, no, you could have a wide local, excision. And I will say they were very good, and they did explain to me that they went in twice normally, and if they didn't get full clearance around the area they were dealing with, then you may have to proceed to mastectomy. And they did give me about a week to 10 days to decide which one to go for, and an opportunity to go back to clinic if I decided to go for the bigger up the mastectomy, to see the consultant on a one-to-one who would talk me through it and tell me what to expect. So that was very positive, that was very good, I thought.